Asteroids, the rocks of the sky. Hi, I'm Jay with Cevohcam Studios, and today I'm going to show you how to create hundreds of rocks in Blender quickly and easily with just a few small modifiers. So let's get started. So in your new blend file, you're going to have your good trusty friend, the default cube here. And we're going to add two modifiers. We are going to add a subdivision surface modifier, and we are going to go and add a displace modifier. Underneath the displace modifier, we're going to want to create a texture for the displacement map. So click New, and then hit these two little pill buttons to go into the Texture tab. So the Texture tab is going to be pretty blank right now, but change the type of texture from Image or Movie to Clouds. That'll give you access to a whole bunch of various different noise patterns you can use to form your rocks. Like everything in Blender, play with the scale and play with the values here until you find something you like. But this is good enough for the demo. So let's go back to modifiers. What I found is this often works better when you have the mid-level slid to 0, or else you might have some intersecting faces when you start to really displace your rocks. You might be able to see it if you scroll the mid-level up, and you move the strength up, and you'll see how the rock shape can get pretty warped. So I'll use a strength of 0.4 and a mid-level of 0. Now, to make this work for generating hundreds of different types of rocks, we're going to change the coordinates from local to global. So you can now see if I take this default cube and Shift D to duplicate it and just move it, all the little vertices are going to be shifting their position. So with all the little vertices shifting position, all these rocks are going to become unique. And depending on what levels you use for your strength and mid-level, you can control the patterns even more. And if you turn up the subdivisions, you can again start seeing all the detail. And that's the principle we're going to use. But since I want to create hundreds of rocks, I'm going to delete the ones that we have and leave the initial default cube, but we are going to move him out of the way. I'm going to add a mesh and add an icosphere, and I'm going to have 3 subdivision layers on that icosphere. And this is going to be the start of our multiple rocks. So I'm going to go underneath the Object menu, Quick Effects, and apply a cell fracture to the icosphere. Most of the values here you can just leave. But what I like to do is I like to put the noise to 1, or else you're going to end up with a lot of sharp little daggers for your rocks. And then I'm going to deselect Apply Split Edge. I've done this because if you leave this Apply Split Edge enabled, the cells that are generated from the cell fracture, some of them, although they will look like one object in the outliner, will have some splits on the polygon mesh and will look really horrible when you deform them. So disable that. And just click OK to have this calculate. Okay, there you go. The cells are fractured. If the shading looks bad, that's because your original icosphere was not deleted. So go to the outliner, select it, and delete it now. Staying in the outliner, you'll see all the cells that have been generated from the icosphere cell fracture. So we're just going to select the top one, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the outliner. See it's done 70 some odd objects. Some are missing, but that's fine. So now we are going to go and shift select the default cube that has the 2 modifiers that we were using before. We're going to hit Control L, and we're going to be able to link the objects from the default cube highlighted with light orange to the cell fracture pieces highlighted in dark orange by copying the modifiers. Now you'll see the modifiers have been applied. Now you can simply go and take these rocks, put them into a collection, and then use them as an input for your geometry nodes, and this will suffice. But you might run into a problem because you haven't applied any of your modifiers, So Blender will keep trying to recalculate these, and it can really slow things down. So what I like to do at this point, if I'm happy with the rocks, is apply all the modifiers. Then I can shade them smooth. You don't have to. But then when you transform them and randomize the transform, randomizing the location across the X, Y, and Z axis by, let's just say 10 meters each, you can now see all the little rocks that you had generated. So this is basically it. Once you have all these little pieces, you can repeat this process as many times as you want to generate as many rocks as you want. And then you just apply either texture mapping or procedural textures, throw them into geometry nodes, whatever you want. You've now made hundreds of rocks. So now go throw them across your scene, decorate things, and go. If you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.